Star Wars The Old Republic is going free to play. All you Imperial dogs, rejoice. Yeah. As many watching probably already know, Star Wars The Old Republic is going free to play this fall. And just to let everyone know, I actually generally play the Rebel Alliance, but this being Drummond Koss in a rainy city with thunder and lightning overhead, it provides a beautiful vista to speak over, and this is Azurius, my Imperial agent, who I greatly enjoy her gameplay, so I figured I'd use her as the show character. As we've seen, this MMO Anthropology is going to be about the implications on the game, on the society, and the people and the community in the game as it starts to go free to play. And we're going to run around Drummond Koss while I speak about it. And take a look at this huge, beautiful statue to the Emperor and the lightning in the background. Very gorgeous. As we've seen before, here, we'll just take up a spot right in front of that. As we've seen before, the decision to go free to play can be a really rough one for any MMORPG, or MMO in general. A good example of that is my long talk about what was probably going to happen to Star Trek Online when they went free to play. As we've seen, many extremely popular subscription-only venues, such as DCUO, have experienced a great amount of revenue increase from going free to play, for up to 700% in the first few weeks, and EverQuest 2 even saw a 300% increase in their total population. This is good for them, not because of population entirely, because that's going to add extra weight to their servers, but that often every individual in a population increase tends to increase revenue just out of sheer use of microtransactions. And as we've seen with Star Wars The Old Republic, it never managed to gain a following as high as they wanted. An example of an insanely popular subscription-based video game is World of Warcraft, with over 10 million subscribers. Still, even after losing over 1 million, slowly bleeding away, the subscription-based MMO era is virtually over now, with World of Warcraft being the shining jewel of success. Star Wars The Old Republic only managed to get a little over 1 million, and now it's losing players left and right as people are just simply unwilling to pay the subscription price for what is essentially, while a massively multiplayer game, is described often as massively single player, and that's because of the amount of cinematics and gameplay. Let's head off deeper into Drummond Koss here as we speak about how they intend to go free to play. Star Wars The Old Republic has mentioned that they expect to use a sort of freemium concept where there will be freeps who pay nothing, who will be the free-to-players, who will be extremely restricted in certain aspects, but largely open to much of the world. The game will be open until level 50 for most of the players. The spires here are very nice looking. Most free-to-play players won't have to worry about running into many of the restrictions. They'll be able to make it to level 50, they'll be able to play most of the story missions all the way up to level 50. That includes flashpoints, which are instanced dungeons, and operations, which are essentially raids. The rest of the game will be closed off to people who aren't paying for example, the $15 a month subscription fee, which is what it is currently. And that will open up after level 50 content, and also a whole bunch of perks, which are probably mostly services, such as instantly traveling across the universe, getting yourself a larger backpack, etc. And this will be opened up not just with a subscription, ooh, thunder, but also a microtransaction currency called Cartel Coins. Now, we've seen this before in DCUO. We've seen it work pretty well in Wizard 101, even though I disagree with that game, or at least its underlying mechanics, as I may describe in the future, and allowing people to buy their way into specific missions, areas, or perks using a microtransaction currency, which is another freemium concept that works extremely well. Now, The one thing that I see a problem with is that auction house capability will be extremely limited for pure free-to-players. And why is this a problem? Well, if you watch the way that I describe how Star Trek Online has successfully navigated the free-to-play market, the auction house is a gigantic component of how players interact with one another. And without a large amount of access to that to free-to-play people, we may be seeing a little bit of a problem with the internal economy. Now, I can understand a need to lock down the way the auction house is used, mostly to subscribers and people who have used our cartel coins. In fact, I'm hoping that you can open up full access with a cartel coin or some modicum of a small fee, because we want a barrier to spammers, but we don't want a huge barrier to the normal players. Let's run along again, shall we? This is a really gorgeous city. One of the implications that we're probably going to see to the community that already exists here is that guilds are going to see a gigantic swell of freeps coming on in. People interested immediately in jumping into the game and playing the massively single-player content, and getting their swerve on, shooting people, bringing out their lightsabers, slicing through the bad guys. And so there's going to be a sudden jump in the number of people interested in a group to play with. As a result, guilds are going to be popping up all over the place. People are going to be playing more often. There's going to be more people, and the economy is going to see a sudden influx of stuff. They're also going to see a sudden influx of people who don't know what the hell they're doing. So, as a result, we'll be seeing a glut of newbies over probably a month or two, which will eventually dwindle down again. Undoubtedly, we'll probably also see that 300 to 400% jump in players, the player base, many of whom are going to just leave after the first few weeks or play only an hour or so. One thing I can tell you about Star Wars The Old Republic is that it's almost like an interactive movie to an extent. The storyline missions are extremely compelling, especially in the beginning. There's a lot of reasons to stick in the game and actually follow a single character. One of the things I expect that Star Wars The Old Republic is going to make a lot of money off of, especially on the cartel coins, is alternate characters. This game is all about making a new person and looking at their story, because each character class from each faction has their own story. And if we look at the way that Star Trek Online works, they restrict the number of characters that you can have at one time. And in Star Wars The Old Republic, this means that it's going to restrict the entire way that you can experience the entire game. I have 8 alternates straight off the bat because I wanted to play through every character and look at their storyline. They're literally split up into chapters like a storybook. This is part of the criticism that this game is very massively single player, because you have your own story where you're the protagonist of it in each instance, and this separates Star Wars The Old Republic from other games like World of Warcraft, which are very open theme parks, which allow you to visit numerous areas and carve your own path, whereas Star Wars is a narrow, narrated path that you guide yourself through. This will probably keep people in a free-to-play game more than it will in a subscription game. Well, that's about as much time as I have today. I hope you've enjoyed the lightning in the background and the discussion of how going free-to-play will probably affect both the business model of Star Wars The Old Republic and the existing guilds and the community that we already have. Thank you for watching, and to the rest of you, good night, good dreams, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching, everyone, and if you made it this far, hopefully I've earned your like. And if you like what you've been watching so far, please subscribe and leave a comment below. If you're a regular watcher of my series, you probably know that Star Wars The Old Republic has been back in MMO Anthropology several times, such as when I discussed the Get Down bug, which was a dancing bug that provided, well, invulnerability, and the implications of how BioWare was approaching the PvP community in the game. You should go look at those videos. And if you're interested in the way that transitioning from subscription to free to play affects a community, you can watch my initial Star Trek Online, The Implications of Going Free to Play. Meanwhile, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, or you'll be eaten by a Gundark.